Chapter 11. Greetings from North Jersey. Our last day trip was quickly approaching. I wasn't quite sure where we would be going, but for once I was looking forward to it. My parents decided to cancel our Sunday routine and make the last trip a complete surprise. I called T-Bone and told him when to be at our house. Tuesday morning arrived right on schedule, but unfortunately, T-Bone didn't. I looked up and down the street a few times while my mom contemplated calling his house. "I hate to call so early," she said to my father, "but what if he overslept? He'd be so disappointed." "Yeah, that would be terrible," my dad said sarcastically, imagining a T-bone-free day. We waited until 7:15, and then my mom asked me to call him. The phone rang several times, and no one answered. Just when I was about to run over to his house, we heard a car beeping outside. My dad opened the door, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Parked in front of our house was a black limousine. "Maybe he needs directions," my dad said as he neared the limo. "I'll find out." As I stood in the doorway staring at the shiny black car, the window slowly dropped down. "Oh my God," I said with my mouth wide open. "I don't believe it." "Hey, isn't she great?" T-Bone yelled from the back seat. My mom ran out to the driveway and stopped in her tracks when she saw T-Bone. "Nicky, did he steal it?" she asked slowly. "I don't think so," I said. "Well, then why is he in the back of a limo?" "Beats the heck out of me," I shrugged. "Come on over," he yelled. "It's ours." We joined my dad next to the car. We didn't know what was going on, and I think my mom still thought that he stole it. "Tommy, what is this?" asked my dad. "It's a limo, Mr. A." "Tommy, I know what it is. What is it doing here? Did you come by to tell us you had other plans?" "Don't worry, Mr. A. I would have just called you," he said, holding up the car phone. "Okay, then why are you riding in a limo?" "Well, I was listening to the radio Sunday night, and they had a contest. If you were the 101st caller and you answered 3 questions, you won a limo for the day. You even won the driver." "Well, of course you'd get the driver," said my dad. "Never mind, just get to the point, Tommy." "Oh, you mean the driver. His name is Tony," he said, pointing to the man behind the wheel. "Hi, Tony," my dad said with a wave. "Good morning," Tony answered. "No, Tommy, I meant get to the reason why you're sitting in a limo." "Oh, yeah," T-Bone laughed. "I was listening to the New Jersey 101.5 last night, and they had this contest about New Jersey. If you got the first question right, you got lunch for your whole office. Since I don't have an office, I knew I had to get more than one right." "Keep going," my dad said with a sigh. "If you got 2 right, you won a luxury box for one Trenton Titans hockey game. But 3 questions was the grand prize." "What exactly is the grand prize?" my mom asked. "You get a limo for the day, a bag with $500, and dinner at some fancy place in Hoboken." "And you mean to tell me that you answered all 3 questions correctly?" my dad asked, still in shock. "Yeah, it was the funniest thing, Mr. A. I knew all of the answers. The hardest part was remembering the phone number." "But aren't the last 4 numbers 1015, the name of the radio station?" my mom asked. "Oh, yeah," T-Bone laughed. "So what were the questions?" my dad asked. "Let's see," he said, trying to remember. "Oh, okay. The first was to name the lake at High Point, and that was easy. It's Lake Marcia. The second one was about how tall the USS New Jersey is, and I remembered that it's 11 stories. "What was the third question?" I asked. "Oh, that was the funniest one. In New Jersey, how long must a blue crab be from point to point to be legal for catching?" And believe me, I remember that one. It was 4.5 inches. That's how I got the limo and the bag of money." "Surely they didn't give you a bag of money?" asked my mom. "Oh, yes, they did," he smiled as he held up a bag with a $sign on it. "Maybe he robbed a bank," my mom whispered. "So I guess you have other plans today?" asked my dad. "Are you kidding? This limo is for our trip today. You don't have to drive, Mr. A. You can just sit back and relax." "But, Tommy, you should take your family out with the limo," said my mom. "Oh, no. My parents insisted. My mom took half of the money out of the bag and put it into my bank account, and she said to give you this note." My mom opened the note and read it out loud. "Hi, guys. I guess by now Tommy told you about the contest. You've been so kind to include him in all of your family trips that I felt you deserved to all relax and enjoy your last one. Please use the $250, the limo, and the dinner gift certificate to make a memorable trip. Jeannie Rizzo. P.S. And thank you. If it wasn't for your day trips, he wouldn't have been able to answer one of those questions." "See, Mrs. A, my mom said I can hang out with you guys." "I don't know, Tommy. Are you positive?" she asked. "Definitely," he answered. "Are you ready?" As we piled into the limo, my dad told Tony where we were going. As usual, we headed toward the New Jersey Turnpike. Driving in the limo gave the turnpike a whole different feeling. Even though the other people couldn't see us, I felt important, almost famous. "I think I want to get one of these when I grow up," T-Bone said. "Well, knowing you, you'll win one," my dad laughed. We drove up to Jersey City and followed signs for the Liberty Science Center. It reminded me of the Franklin Institute, back in Philly, because it had an IMAX theater. I wasn't a big fan of science in school, but I loved these kinds of places. As soon as we entered the building, we grabbed a schedule of shows. I wanted to go to the IMAX theater first. I saw a sign on the turnpike that advertised a deep-sea volcano show, and it sounded cool. There was another one about bugs, but my sisters wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes watching 55-foot-long bugs. My mom and dad let me and T-Bone call the shots that day. After the volcano show, we went to Touch Alley to test our sense of touch in a 100-foot-long dark tunnel. Of course, T-Bone failed the test when he came out hugging a very scared, very old woman. On the same floor was Perception Alley, which was almost like a fun house. When we reached the environment floor, we could see New York City, the Statue of Liberty, and Ellis Island. It would be cool to see the statue and Ellis Island, I told my dad, except that this is a New Jersey trip and they're in New York. "Well, there's always been a debate about that," he said. "What do you mean?" I asked. "Actually, there was a debate about whether Ellis Island belonged to New Jersey or New York. The two states even went to court over it." "How come?" "Well, the New York harbor is between New York and New Jersey, and there was some question as to which side the island was on." "So which side is it on?" "Actually, I don't know," my dad sighed. "Let's just say that since it's in the middle of the harbor, they share it. It doesn't matter. We'll go." I felt like a movie star, walking out of the Science Center and having a limo pull up. I felt like an idiot, however, when a dozen girls came running over to ask for my autograph. Surrounded by fans, I just looked at T-Bone. "Sorry," he winked. "I didn't mean to tell them about your new television show. It just slipped." "My what?" I screamed as 3 girls were all grabbing my left arm and pulling. "Just give them your autograph," he hollered from behind the crowd. I wasn't sure what to do, and I couldn't even see my parents, so I signed autographs. To make sure I never got in trouble for it, I signed T-Bone's name. There was one girl who tried to kiss me, so I gave her T-Bone's phone number, too. Not knowing what was going on, my parents came running over to see if I was all right. When I told them what T-Bone had done, they laughed. I was shocked and expected them to be upset, Instead, they both said, "Good one." Clearly, they were letting T-Bone's limo and bag of money cloud their judgment. We spent the rest of the day at Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. My dad told Timmy how our ancestors came over from Italy with only the clothes on their backs. "They should have used a suitcase," said T-Bone. We were all getting tired and just agreed with him. It was easier than trying to explain the conditions of the people who arrived at Ellis Island. Just taking the ferry to the statue was amazing. When I came face to face with it, I was blown away. "I hope we gave France a good gift in return," I joked. "I think we gave them the Eiffel Tower or the Leaning Tower of Pisa," said T-Bone, not realizing that I was joking. Again, we just agreed with him. Sometimes it was just easier. After the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island, we went to Hoboken. Never having been there before, I didn't know what to expect. "Are we at Hoboken yet?" Maggie asked as she stared out the limo window. "Almost," said Tony. "Just a few more minutes." "Hey, Tony, do you get 101.5 on the radio?" I asked. With school coming up, I wasn't sure how many more times I would get to hear the Jersey guys. "You got it, kid," Tony said as he turned up the volume. He was already listening to them. "These guys crack me up." "So, Tony," my dad asked the driver, "where are we going for dinner?" "Amanda's on Washington Street." "Sounds good," smiled my mom. "I think you'll be pleased, sir," Tony began, "but there's one thing we have to take care of first." "What's that?" asked my dad. Before Tony could answer, the phone in the limo rang. No one knew what to do, so we just stared at it. By the fourth ring, Tony suggested that someone answer it. While we frantically tried to decide who should be the one, Emma picked up the receiver. "Hello?" she said. Tony flipped the red switch to turn on the speakerphone. "Well, hello, little dog," the voice on the other end yelled. It sounded really familiar, but I couldn't place it. "Hey, where's Tony Rizzo?" asked the voice. "Ray wants to talk to the little Italian kid." Oh my God, I thought. I recognized the voice. It's the Jersey guys from New Jersey 101.5. I couldn't believe it. "We've got a whole car full of Italian kids," my mom laughed. "Then put them all on," the voice yelled. "Do you know who this is?" "Uncle Gordon?" T-Bone yelled. "Uncle Gordon?" the voice laughed. "I've been called a lot of things in my life, but never Uncle Gordon." I couldn't take it anymore. We had the actual Jersey guys on the phone, and T-Bone was on the verge of insulting them. "Hey, dog," I yelled. "You're the Jersey guys, Ray and Craig." "That's right, my man," Craig answered, "and we're talking to our New Jersey 101.5 New Jersey Trivia Challenge winner, 12-year-old Tommy Rizzo, and from what Tony, the limo driver, told us, some other kid's family." "Is that right?" asked Ray and the other Jersey guys. "Tommy, what's the deal with bringing another family?" "Well, the Abruzzes took me on a bunch of trips, and my mom thought they deserved to go today. She insisted." "Well, kid, it sounds like you must be some piece of work," Craig laughed. "Let me talk to someone from the Abruzzi family." "Hi," my mom said. "Is this the mom?" asked Ray. Yes," my mom answered. "This is Erin Abruzzi." "So, Erin, what's the real story with this kid? How did you guys end up in the limo, and what do you do with this family?" He's really a wonderful boy. We took one New Jersey day trip each week for 7 weeks, and we brought Tommy with us. His mom really appreciated it and sent the limo over today. "What about the bag of money?" asked Ray. "My parents put half of it in the bank account, and the rest is here in the limo." "So let me get this straight, dog. You guys are just driving around in a limo with a bag of money?" "Half a bag," T-Bone corrected. "Remember, I said that my parents put half of the money in the bank?" "Yeah, I can see why the Abruzzis deserve to go," Craig joked. "Hey, are we on the radio right now? Because my friend Nicky here is a big fan," said T-Bone. "He's been listening to you all summer." "Hey, Nick, what's up, man?" Craig shouted. "Of course you're on the radio." "Not much," I answered, wishing I could think of something cool to say. "Not much," he laughed. "Do you always drive around in a limo with half a bag of money?" "Well, no," I said, "just on Tuesdays." My under-pressure attempt at a joke was successful. For once, everyone laughed. "So I want to know this," Ray asked. "We had something like 400 people call in with the wrong answers. How did a 12-year-old know the legal length of a blue claw crab?" "Well," T-Bone answered very thoughtfully, "it took a lot of thinking, and I do read a lot." "Yeah, right," I laughed. "How about the fact that out of the 200 crabs he caught, not one of them was 4.5 inches across?" "Nicky Abruzzi, you are one sarcastic kid," said Craig, "and I like it. When can we have you on the show again?" "Are you serious?" I asked. "Why not? They can't fire us for that, can they, Ray?" "Don't think so," Ray answered. "Great, you're hired," said Craig. "Nicky, you remind me of myself when I was very young and very sarcastic. And Tommy, you could be a junior Ray. Maybe you could be our New Jersey correspondent and check out places in New Jersey for us." "Wow," said T-Bone. "Pretty soon we won't be able to walk down the street without people asking us for autographs." "You do realize this is a radio show, right?" asked Ray. "He really is a junior Ray," Craig laughed. "Hey, is this for real?" I asked, still waiting for a hidden camera to pop out from the front seat. "Absolutely. Call us tomorrow and we'll set things up," said Craig. "Now, get inside Amanda's and enjoy your dinner. It was great to talk to everyone, and thanks for listening to New Jersey 101.5. We walked into Amanda's and they treated us like royalty. They brought extra things we didn't order and sent round after round of sodas with cherries and orange slices. On the way home, T-Bone told us that he couldn't sleep over because he had a doctor's appointment in the morning. It was such an amazing day that my dad almost seemed sad to drop him off. When the limo pulled up to our house, once again, the kids were all asleep. I helped my parents carry them, and my mom went straight upstairs to tuck them in. I was too excited to go to sleep, so I joined my dad in the family room. "Pretty exciting day, huh?" he asked. "Pretty exciting summer," I answered, after giving it some thought. "Really?" "Yeah," I said. "It was definitely different than I had hoped it would be, but the day trips were actually cool. You know, your mom and I were really worried that you would hate them." "Then why did you guarantee that I'd love them?" I asked. "Wishful thinking, I guess." In the beginning, I really, really wanted to go to Florida. When you told us we were spending our vacation in New Jersey, I thought you and Mom were losing it. "I thought the same thing when I was in your shoes," he laughed. "What do you mean when you were in my shoes?" "One year, when I was growing up, money was really tight, and my parents decided to do day trips." "So wait a minute," I started. "Is that why you knew to bring bathing suits to Lake Marcia?" He smiled. "So you had everything planned so perfectly because you had already been to these places?" "Well, not everything. No one could have predicted that Tommy would win a limo and a bag of money." "You've got a point," I said, "but do you know how sneaky that is?" He smiled and nodded. "Why didn't you just tell us in the beginning?" I asked. "Your mom and I wanted you to learn that it's really not about the destination. Good vacations are about the people you're with and the memories you make." "So why didn't you just say so?" "Well, some things you have to learn for yourself." "I guess," I said as I skimmed the pictures on my digital camera. "So now that you'll be working for the radio station, any idea where your first day trip will be?" "Yeah," I laughed. "Somewhere in New Jersey."